I think you can start now without delay.
Yes, all right. Mhm. So, good morning, dear learners. I am an academic counselor for the paper on diaspora, migration and diaspora. So, I am Dr. M. Rex Sahayaraj, working in the Department of Social Work at Guru College of Liberal Arts and Science from Tamil Nadu region. So, today we are going to discuss about the research methodology course on your curriculum, that is block 1, that is approaches to understand social reality. uh, to brief on this, um the main objective of studying the society, it's very important to understand how we have to conduct a research. For that purpose, which is a major objective of this, is to understand what is society uh, in a broader way, and to leverage upon our research to the higher level, which is not the layman perspective to understanding the society, but put a scientific temper on what we need to know about the society. So that is the whole agenda of the block of this particular research methodology, because it starts the very beginning of the research methodology paper starts with understanding the society. Because any studies in social science, it is science because we make a theory or we make some uh, kind of conclusion or suggestion based on the fact which is being identified by our research. So for that purpose, it is very important to understand the society well. So introduction to this, the society, the study of society. So what this society is all about, what we need to understand about the society, uh, and how I am looking the society now, and how I should look in the perspective of the scholars who have contributed to the society to the larger level. Okay, so that is very important. So when we understand the meaning of society, so what this society is all about? Uh, the society is not just a group of people. That's what we have a common understanding, or a person who is probably from a pure science background will argue with us and tell us how you can call yourself sociology as a science, or migration study as a science, or how you call yourself the research as a science. So we should, or we must, I say that, to give clear idea on how why we call our research is very scientific. Uh, uh, when we conduct, when we argue, or when we counterpart with the person comes from the science background, the pure science background. Uh, so, dear learners, as I have said, society is not just a group of people, but it's a system of relationships. It has its own values, it has its own customs, and it has its own established institutions. All right. Whether it is, when you say society, like in India, we have the society is being segregated in many ways. All right. We say that the major segmentation of our society is based on caste, and based on a geographical location, we say that it is tribal society or tribal community. We say that it's a rural community. We say that it's an urban society. So we have a kind of a kind of segregation based on that. But in terms of any segregation, probably based on caste or based on geographical location, based on the occupation or whatsoever, they have a system of relations, right? How they are getting related, okay, each other, right? They have the system of values, all right. So how they have to identify how they have to get connected, how I have to run my family. They have the values based on their society, and they have the customs and everything. So when you see this, it includes both structure, right? It includes there is a structure in it. So Indian society, we say we have a structure. Uh, even the law brings that structure, right? The sometimes the religion brings that structure. There's a rule that in a particular religion, and the particular religion is bringing the norms. The particular religion brings institution into it, right? Any religion you take, they have the kind of institutions behind the institution that works on it, right? If you take for example, the religion of Christianity. They have a structure of church. They have a structure of the bishop. They have the structure of priest, and they build their institutions. In Hindu culture, there is a temple, there is a guru, there is a rules and regulation, and all those things. Okay, so when you say structure, this is then there is an agency for it. As I have said, the individual actions, interpretations, and everything. Example, we take a school as an institution, right? We everyone go to school. We have gone to school in our um, uh, till 5 years to till 17 years. We are accustomed with the school culture and everything. Can any one of you say how you say that school is an institution? Can Madam Sophia or Madam Silfa, can you say that school is an institution?
Yes, sir.
Not able to hear Madam Sophia. It's possible you
Um,
can.
yeah, sir, I said yes, school would be an institution.
I'm not
Yes.
able to hear you. I think you speak, but I am not able.
Is this better? Are you able to hear me now? Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yeah. It's a fault of on my end. I didn't on the mic. Sorry for it. Yeah,
Okay, sir, I'm saying that yes, I believe that yes, school is an institution.
yeah. How do you add upon it? What evidence you keep, or what characteristics you say that school is an institution?
Because as you said, there is a structure there. Like there'll be a principal, there'll be teachers for each section, department.
Exactly,
There'll be
exactly. Yeah,
students.
carry on.
There'll be accounts people, HR people.
Okay,
So there is a structure.
yes. Okay, very good, very good. Madam Silfa, can you add anything on it? Okay, all right. As Sophia said, uh, it's an institution because there is a structure in it. There is a principle. There is a students coming and going and learning. There is 8:30 is a school. They have to come 8:30. For teachers, it's 8 o'clock. They have to come at 8 o'clock. For students, the lunch time is 1 to 2. They have to finish the lunch 1 to 2. If the government gives any kind of rules and regulation, the school should follow it. They have to adhere to the rules and regulation of the the government. Okay, so we divide any institution into things. One is in an objective way how they are running it, in a subjective way when they how they are running it. The institution with the rules, it is objective because it's a rule. They have to follow it, but students and teachers also shape its culture based on their experiences, which is subjective, right? So I teach research and methodology, and I ask Madam Sophia to say something, and I appreciate her for being part of interaction. It is based on my experience. So I may say, I may appreciate that. But sometimes, if I am from another background, I never appreciate the student. I don't want them to answer. Just I go on my own teaching. That is my subjective. But rules, what is the rules? That they have to write the exam, they have to pass in the exam, I have to come at 8 o'clock as a teacher, and these things are rules and regulations. So any institutions for a matter should have a subjective and objective. It cannot run only on the one kind of thing, right? So very beginning of this paper, we need to understand very exclusively that, or we need to erase in our mind if you have the conception that society is just a group of people. No, it is not just a group of people, but it is a system of relationship, values, customs, and institutions. Okay. What the sociological versus common sense understanding. That is very, very, we need to break our head to see, is my PPT is visible?
No, sir, not visible, please.
Is it now only is gone, or
Sir, we are able to just see a blank
yeah,
page.
that's what I am on.
Earlier, it was there was content.
If anything arises like this, please inform me. Sorry for the interruption. What about now? What about now?
Yes, it's coming, sir.
Okay, all right.
Well, can you do one thing? Maybe some cross is coming. You can simply go out and come in once again.
No, this.
Dr. Rex, you can go out and come in, maybe some technical thing.
Is that okay now?
Just to go, now it's okay.
Okay, okay. I think sometimes that external disk I used, but it's an issue. All right. So extremely sorry for it, for the technical issue. Uh, so we need to go and understand the sociological point of understanding the society and common sense, and in a common sense, what we understand about the society. What is a common sense understanding based on everyday experience, personal beliefs, and assumption? What, right? So which is very, very subjective in nature, right? Very, very subjective in nature. So I have kind of opinion on a particular group set of people, something, and I say that this is what that particular people said, and I have a good opinion on a particular set of people, and I say that this is what I generalize what is based on my personal assumption and everything. And apart from that, I have a sociological understanding. What is the sociological understanding of the society? So based on a systematic study, very, very important. I have a systematic study on the domestic violence that is happening in a particular community. Then I say that this community people are more vulnerable to domestic violence, right? And I refer a theory and say that how it is connected to domestic violence, right? And I give with a data that this domestic violence is happening. I don't know how many of you have read on Women's Day. I, there was an article in Hindu newspaper stating how many hours in a day women are more contributing in the household work than men, and how much need to be paid for them for that work in a day. How it is highly data generated. The fact is, when you say it in numbers, right, we cannot say orally that women are doing more household work than men. So as a sociological perspective, we need to study, we need to collect data, we need to interpret and analyze the data, saying that it is these many hours women are spending time on household work than men. And these many women, those who are going on work and come back to home, again these many hours are they are spending on household work or taking care of the in-laws or elders or the children in the family than men. So how this portrays, and how this is more scientific than saying women are more working more hours in the house than the men. So very, very important when we study sociology like migration studies, population studies, or any other discipline is a matter, or social work or psychology. We need to put across the scientific temper on our studies, the theoretical background, what we study, right? So very, very important, dear learners, that how we are going to conduct a research. So, so sociology studies is a structural factors. There is a structural factors when we study like poverty and social inequality. So what is a social a reality when we discuss about the social reality? How we are, how we need to study the social reality, whether should be objective elements or subjective elements. Can anyone uh, can you say that what is objective elements or what is subjective elements, or both are the same or it's different? Let us make, if it's 1 hour or 1.5 hour, let us make more interactive. uh, so what is your idea on that, subjective, objective?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, please.
Subjective by subjective elements, we mean that where our personal bias is there. But in objective, this element, our personal bias is not there. We see the things as they are, as it is. But in our subjective bias, we are more involved to our feelings, judgments. That is it, sir.
Thank you, Madam Shilpa, for your continuous interaction. Can anyone agree
Good morning,
to?
sir. Just to add on to what Shilpa said, objective is also based on evidence and facts. Just
Which
to add
one?
on to what,
Objective. Objective.
yes, and subject, like she said, it's your perception and your biases and prejudice, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You put two terms like prejudice and bias. Thank you, Shilpa, and I forgot you, Pragya, right?
Dev Pragya, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. You are both are correct. You are on the nail. When you say objective elements, it is by factor, right? And subjective elements, as Dave Pragya said, it is bias and prejudice. All right. Uh, as a researcher, we must be objective always. All right. Uh, for example, I take Madam Shilpa's name. Okay, I think I can take it. Uh, if someone in my life has come across in my life some name, we take Shilpa, right? Is she that person gave me a kind of wrong perception in my life. I cannot generalize that all Shilpas named Shilpa will have that kind of thing. Input in another way. Someone named Shilpa gave me a good opinion on her. She behaved well, she's a good learner, or something like that. So I cannot come to the conclusion that those who are named Shilpa are very bright. So it's when you say prejudice or bias, it should not be on a wrong end or in a positive. Either is wrong, right? If I take positively, it doesn't mean that it's not bias. Okay. If we take as any end of that, whether positive or negative, it is bias, right? So as a researcher, it's a first and foremost quality of any researcher is to be that be objective in your studies. Don't manipulate it. Okay, we should not manipulate it, or we should not make something to come what I expect to be in my research, right? So I cannot do that as a research. It's ethically wrong. First of all, it's ethically wrong, even though it is the fundamental. We lose the value of the research. So as the two learners have said, Silpa and Dev, when you say objective, these are exist independent of individual perception. So it is removed from the individual perception, and we say the examples of the social institution like family, government, religion, laws and regulations, economic systems, and everything. We see it as outside, which is you cannot we cannot have bias on it. We can have it, but if it exists as it is. When it is subjective in nature, we see we see even the people say that uh, no, female should be as they are in olden days. They should not come to education, they should not study beyond that, something like that, which is traditional. They have their own bias. All right. So no. May see them as they should be oppressed. No, this should be followed or something like that, where they have their own opinion to be feel that is right. So uh, that which is the hindrance to the study. But the interaction between objective and subjective reality, when you say the government may create a law against discrimination. All right. If any discrimination happens, the government brought the POXO Act. The government brought certain policies which is sexual harassment in the workplace. So this is the very objective in nature. Okay. So because the government brings certain law against discrimination, right? It brings certain law which is kind of objective in nature. Okay, I'm bringing the examples for objectivity. Objective in nature because it's eliminates the discrimination in the society, or it promotes the particular sect of the people to uh, have a good quality of life, right? So that is the thing of the objectivity. So what is the subjectiveness of it? Okay. For example, The law says that I should not beat my child. Okay. JJ Act or POX Act or whatsoever. When you say abuse, it's not only a sexual abuse. Even if I beat my child very, very horribly, okay, if I give corporal punishment, that is punishable according to the law, right? What is my subjective in nature? I may accept or reject it, right? The law says that uh, the child should be married after 18 years. The girl child should be married after 18 years. But you see, the other hand, the parents are in the rural community or particular sect of the particular uh, group of people, or if you see we say that in particular religion or in particular caste group, they make the people to get married at the age of 15 or when they attain puberty. This is not the ignorance of law, but is they didn't accept the law, which is subjective in nature. I am subjective that I don't accept this law, because even though you do that, it is against my values, it is against my group's value or whatsoever, right? So look at the example I need to make it clear that the government brings in with objectivity that to eliminate certain discrimination or to promote certain the quality of life of the particular sect of the people, that is objective in nature. But subjective in nature is that people to accept or not, it's up to them. But if they go against the law, they will be punished. Right. Next one. What are when you speak about the characteristics of uh, uh, society, right? Trukim, who is the famous sociologist, what are the uh, characteristics? What the characteristics the society is having as a whole? So when you say social facts or patterns of behavior, right? It is a patterns. It means that there is one to another that goes one by one, and it is a patterns of thought. Okay, when you say social facts, it's a patterns of thought, and it's a feeling that exists outside the individual but influence them. Okay, feelings that exist outside the individuals and influence them, right? So when you say social facts, it is patterns of behavior. When you say society, it's a patterns of behavior, because behavior is happening, right? Thought is going on, and it is exists outside the individual. So three features when you say in society, one is general. When you say general, it is common to a group. Okay. Another one is external, exist outside individuals. Okay, any society you take, there are three features. When you say features, it's also we say that uh, characteristics, right? So three features. One is general. Please understand, general. It is common to group, right? External, exists outside individuals. So individuals is not responsible for it. Exists outside individuals, but influence the individual. Coercive. Okay, influence behavior. Okay, so one influence others behavior, right? In terms of how the culture changed in the dress code of the village people now. It is a coercive, means it influence behavior, right? One to another. They adopt it. They slowly adopt it. Okay. External outside individuals and common to group. For example, that language is common to a group. They speak the same language, general, right? So they have a village festival. It's general, common to group. No, I give one examples. We from social work department, we conduct rural camp for 7 days. So we have arranged a rural camp. We visited the village, and we have spoke to the particular. We did much interaction, but we spoke to few people and government authorities. They said that they conduct a rural camp there for 7 days, and we entered into that particular village on a particular day. They didn't allow us to the village to conduct the rural camp. They asked us to come on the next week or almost they didn't ask. They didn't allow us for particular 1 week. Can you guess why?
Sir, come again with the question, please. I didn't get
Huh?
what.
We from social work department will conduct a rural camp in villages. I am just giving example of this
Yeah, yeah.
characteristics of.
Okay.
Okay. We have spoken. We have a limited conversation with that village before we arrange for the rural camp, and
Okay.
we spoke to government authorities and all those things because we need to get permission from
Yes.
district collectorate and everything. They gave permission.
Okay.
But we entered into the village. They
Yes.
politely said that we will not allow you for this week alone. You arrange it next week or the another week. That particular week they didn't allow.
So maybe because of some temple festival or a religious reason?
Exactly. So, yeah. It is because of that village festival, right? In Tamil Nadu, I don't know the part. Probably in village community you may have. They consider as kapu. They will cut some. They will tie some rope here for all the village people. Okay, of that native. You know what happened after tying this? They should not go outside of the village, and no one should be allowed to come inside of the village.
Okay.
Any external should not come inside of the village. Even that person is a village resident. Okay, but he should be accommodated before that week, before that village festival starts. He probably in some cities working migrated or some. That is not a matter. He should be there inside, and they should not go outside of the village that particular time period, and they will not involve any external persons from outside during that village festival because they consider that as a polluted one. Okay, it's considered as a it is considered as an polluted. In simple terms, they say, right? So this type of which is common. Okay, so this is the system they have. We need to understand how the society is functioning. It's a small incident, but even though how they are functioning, how the society is working, how the Indian society, so that some some theories built by the Western people cannot be placed into the Indian society because we have certain kind of values, beliefs, and everything, right? So these are the general, external, and the cohesive. And we say, for example, language. We do not create language; we learn and use it, which is general. Religion influence moral values and daily life, which is external. Okay, education shapes knowledge, social rules, and future opportunities, which is cohesive influence. Okay, so email trickium clearly says these are the characteristics of the village. Is not village characteristics of the society, right? Which we need to understand in a wider perspective of the society. We need to put a lot of theoretical values into it. And society as a network of social relationships, right? It's a network of social relationship. What is uh, email to functionalism? That is the sociological theories given by email Trukhiam. So society is like a living organism. Okay. So all parts living organism, right? What do you mean by organism? It is anything which has life in it. Okay, so it's a living organism. He puts very very strongly. All parts work together for stability. Change is slow and gradual. Very very important. Uh, the theory of Emil Durkheim's functionalism uh, on sociology, on society. Society is a living organism. That means it is institutions work together for stability. Your family is you just take a example of your family. Consider that as a society. It's a primary society, right? There's a society, is a living organism. All parts, that means you work as an institutions, works together for stability of your family. Father, if you are married, you are a wife or husband, you have a husband or wife, you have a children. So what you work for, you bring the stability in your family. You work to give better education to your children, right? So on. Okay. Change is slow and gradual. That's what Durkheim says. Change is slow. We may not adopt all the changes all of a sudden, in terms of marriage system, in terms of in a family. Take only the example of a family. Okay, all of a sudden changing the culture. Okay, changing the language. This all will not happen. Now you compare that is to a larger society. Okay, larger society also works for the stability. That is also change is slow and gradual. They will not adopt it. Any change that is all of a sudden it happens. You know, right? For example, I am from a rural community. Yeah, it took me a longer time to adopt to teach to children or students come from the urban society, because I have lot of limitations in terms of language, in terms of how I am going to adopt, because their the dress code, their way of talk, the way they approach the 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 system and everything is different, right? So because this the background we are coming from, if we are moving to another set of people, the adaptability takes a longer time. So at the same time, in the society it will not adopt it, but sometimes it will be forced, right? Because during colonial period, so we are forced to take some of the uh, uh, kind of cultural value system of the Western, which we are following, and we lost our indigenous knowledge system for some extent, right? So this is what the Durkheim's theory clearly speaks about uh, 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 the theory speaks about the concept of the living organisms. The change is slow and gradual. When you take about Karl Marx, who is Karl Marx? What is his contribution? What is he known for? Karl Marx. Karl Marx.
Sir, Karl Marx theory, economy.
Economy. He is known for economy, communism, right? Karl Marx theory. So he has given a conflict theory. Conflict between whom and whom?
Sir, rich and poor.
Rich and poor, probably from labor and employer.
True,
Okay,
sir.
bourgeoisie and proletariat. This was the term he used it. Okay, any economic student cannot study economics unless until you study Karl Marx, right? So he has given conflict theory, which is highly relevant to society. So society, he says, he start with that society is based on inequality and power struggles, right? He also spoke about women empowerment. He put two very, very important perspectives how the women can be empowered. Only two. Can anyone say? Can anyone guess what Karl Marx might have said when he talks about women empowerment?
Sir, labor should also be counted for the expenditure, importance of labor.
Importance of, no, for women empowerment, he put two freedom women should have. Only two. Can you just guess it? What might have been that? If you are a Karl Marx, what you have written on it? What freedom they should have?
Freedom for employment.
Okay.
Equal pay for equal work.
Okay. Apart from that, okay, equally you are paid. After what will you do with that payment? Do you go and give to your husband?
The right to decide what to do with the salary that you have earned.
Yes, that is economic decision. Right. Next one. Any guess? Is that yeah, please. Okay. First one is economic freedom, economic decision. Second one is political participation, right? Not politically just going and voting, political participation, right? These are the two main criteria Karl Marx stress upon when women want to empower. So this is what we are putting scientific temperament to the society. How we are seeing women are a particular sect of the society. So if I know about Karl Marx theory, I reach the women empowerment perspectives, focus more on the economic decision than women empowerment, right? Right. So he brings that society is based on inequality and power struggles, right? It's a power struggle. Always the power struggle will be there. The rich and powerful exploit the poor. As someone said that, I think Singh too has said that it is the fight between rich and poor. And he said that the rich or and powerful always exploit the poor. And social change comes through conflict. Okay. The fight, you should protest, you should take revolution in order to get your rights. Okay. For example, industrialists exploit workers and workers protest for their rights to get freedom. You see that here Samsung in Tamil Nadu exploited the workers there, and workers formed a trade union. Governments in some way support of uh, Samsung say that it's a foreign company. They cannot. They need not to recognize the trade union in trade union of that company because Samsung is from abroad. But it's totally wrong. They have, because they have established, the court said that they have established their organization in India. They must be obliged to the act of the Parliament of India. Right. So conflict theory helps us to understand how the society will fight, protest, and take revolution to get their rights. And another theory given by uh, George Herbert is symbolic interactionism. When you say that society is created through small scale interactions and shared meanings, society is created through small scale interactions, small scale set. So you maybe with 5 family you interact, or in your particular street you interact, the small scale interaction and share the meanings. The meaning is shared. So what you expect from them and what they expect from you, it's shared. And individual act based on perceived meaning of objects, people, and situations. Okay, for example, uh, if you give a handshake to next person, it means that in some culture, you means it's a respect, and but also it also disrespect in some in other cultures, right? So for example, if from Indian, I sometimes I don't know what to do, whether I have to give a handshake or I have to say vanakkam. Okay, so sometimes it disrespect. So the meaning of boss is different from an employee or versus a business owner. So symbolic interactionism is happening, and there are some structuralism. Society is structured by deep unconscious rules like language, kinship, culture. It's called a structuralism theory. Post-structuralism theory, meaning it is not kind of not fixed and changes based on context, power, and language. So it is changes then and there. That is a post-structuralism theory. So how we are looking into the theories in a different way. That is very, very important uh, areas that we need to discuss, right? So the theoretical background so far we have learned conflict theory or email system theory makes us to understand the society very well in a very, very in a better way. Okay, in a very scientific, right? So let us also learn which is we have covered unit 1. So unit 2 tells us a scientific method and study of social phenomena. How we study scientifically. How we are going to use research as a scientific method. I'm going to put a scientific flavor on my research and to give deep depth understanding and bringing the fact to construct a theory. Okay. So the meaning and features of the scientific method. When I say that my research is scientific, what is the meaning of the term scientific? Okay. So for example, if you take chemistry, some experiment, if I do it here in Tamil Nadu, okay. If I do it in Australia, will it going to be different? I don't know chemistry, but if at all, if I do some experiment here in the corner of Coimbatore of Tamil Nadu, if I take the same experiment and do it in Australia, will it be different or same in chemistry?
Maybe different, sir.
It's different
Maybe
in chemistry.
chemistry.
Hmm.
Chemistry. Maybe same, sir.
Okay. It is absolutely going to be same. For example, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Will put something. In US, the student will study 1 plus 1 is 2 or 1 plus 1 3.
Two only.
2 only. Very good. It's a pure science. Right? In India, alcoholism, consuming alcoholism is a problem or not?
Yes.
It's a problem. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Is it a problem in US?
Yes, it's absolutely.
In US, it's a problem.
But sir, up to certain extent, it is acceptable there.
It is acceptable. It's not at all a problem. We will not look a person one who drinks in US. We will not look awkward. But
Yes.
here, if you find a person drinking, okay, in a public place, you won't respect him. But in public place, they will drink. In a meeting, they will drink. They consume some kind of liquor.
Yes.
Right, which is permissible, which is
Yes. Accepted.
So accepted. So when you see the pure science from the social science, abstract science, it is different, right? What is considered as a problem here may not be a problem in somewhere, but whereas in pure science is the same. Okay, so how I am going to bring scientific methods and research in social sciences, which is very, very different from state to state, country to country, region to region, culture to culture. It's a different. So how I am going to bring a scientific temper into my research? For example, when you say the meaning, the fundamental meaning of any scientific method, it's a systematic study, right? It is a systematic study. When it's a systematic study, it should use certain technique to make it systematic. So I am going to ride my two-wheeler. I should take a key. I should check whether there is a fuel in my two-wheeler, whether my two tires are okay. It's air, whether it is a functioning. I have to put a key, and then I have to do a self start or kick start. Then I have to take a ride. I have to take left or right. I have to do it, and I have to reach my destiny. Right?
Yes.
When you say the research also is systematic, we should use observation. We should use data collection. We need to analyze the data and to inform the society. These are the fact in the particular community or particular society. So helps when you say systematic study, it kills the subjectivity of your research. That means your bias or researcher bias, researcher prejudice is being killed by bringing the systematic flavor into our study. Right? So, what is the steps included when you bring this scientific method into your research? So, you formulate a research problem, right? That and all we discuss in the next sessions, how we have to formulate a research problem. But here we just go through how the study can be systematic. So as a researcher, I should formulate a research problem. What is my research problem? Okay, whether domestic violence is my research problem or gender disparity in the working place is my research problem, or child marriage is my research problem, or the diaspora communities transaction is my research problem. What is my research problem? I have to formulate a research problem, right? And reviewing existing literature. What is reviewing existing literature?
So results of the earlier studies regarding the matter in question. Review the literature is the work of the earlier work regarding the problem.
Okay. Very good. Any other? Review of literature. What is review of literature?
Sir, the study earlier how to study the problem, the statistic analysis methodology.
Okay. So for what purpose this will help you? While doing review of literature, for what it will, for what purpose it will help you for?
Sir, to know what exactly, sorry, Gurpreet, go ahead.
Please, thank you so much, Sophia. Sir, how to move further? What can be the lines to study the problem? For example, a problem of drug abuse. Some of the theses in masters and doctorates in Punjab we have regarding the drug problem in the villages. How the samples were taking, what were the types of the drugs, what was the de-addiction treatment, and what is rehabilitation. So we can have different lines to study the problem, to have a theoretical knowledge of the problem, and and our synopsis, what we want to do.
Okay.
Sophia ji, please carry on.
Yeah. I will. Yeah, please.
Like reviewing, can we say that is there any difference in our findings to that their earlier findings?
Exactly. That's Gurpreet Singh sir said that how we are to move through, and the opinion of Sanjeev Kumar sirs that the previous study will help us what they have done and what methodology they have used. That will also will help us. Exactly. Further, you want to add, Sanjeev sir?
Sir, whether we have done it correctly or not, it can also helpful. It can also be helpful. The earlier
Okay.
reviews.
Okay, very good. I slightly changed my question. In review of literature, how it helps makes us a systematic study. How review of literature helps us to bring a scientific method in our research. Why they say that after research problem, identifying research problem, systematic study is the review of literature comes very next to make the studies very systematic.
Sir, because then we will, when we review the existing literature on that topic, we will know what has been or what study has been undertaken, what steps have been undertaken. So we need not go and do the same thing like reinventing the wheel. Or if you do want to go down that path, at least we know that the previous researcher has maybe done this research and tried to solve problem one. We
Okay.
can try to solve problem two, or we can take the next step instead of going back and doing the same thing, because it's effort wasted collectively. That is what I feel.
Exactly. So it helps us how new things I have to. What is the research gap in my research problem? Okay. What is the gap? It is being identified. Right. So for that purpose, it helps us. It's my PPT is shared. Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next, when you see after your kind of review of existing literature, you go for choosing the research method, whether you want to do it using the interview schedule or experiment you want to do it, or you want to do a survey, right? What you want to do, how I have to conduct my study. So that will be tapped from the review of existing literature, and you channelize the method, what you are going to do. And you collect the data and analyze the data, right? And analyze, after analyzing the data, it becomes information. You are giving the information to the society or the policymakers or the government to what to do, and drawing the conclusion of your inferences, right? So scientific method is the 5 steps we need to understand, that it is formulating a research problem, reviewing the research existing literature, choosing the research method, collecting and analyzing the data, and drawing conclusion. And very important in making a scientific temperament in the research is researchers should avoid personal biases when studying society. And for example, researchers studying poverty should observe facts, not assume poor people are lazy, right? So that is the thing. So if I want to study why this poverty is being there, probably what I should not say that these poor people are lazy or poor people are punished by God. Because of that only they are very poor, right? I should not have that type of my religious perspectives or own bias, right? So that is very important when we talk about the research. You should not have bias, right? You should have, as I have said, you have observation, hypothesis, data collection, analysis, and interpretation, theory formulation of the stages of scientific method, right? So carefully watching, you should form a hypothesis. That means that you should have a assumption. Hypothesis is nothing but you should have assumption. You should have, in simple words, we should have a doubt to clarify through our research, right? And we should go with data collection and everything in order to check whether my doubt is correct or not. Then I should go for analysis and interpretation, and I should go for a theory formulation, right? So these are the fundamental things when we are discussing about the research. And what is on distinction between natural science and social science, as I have said. Natural science, like physical or biology, study the physical world using experiments, and social sciences like sociology study human behavior, which is more complex and emotional.
Yes.
Right? We need to understand that natural science, you do any kind you want, because you are not going to harm anyone, or you are not going to see, for example, if I want to study the behavior pattern of children under the age of 1 to 5, how I am going to study it? Because human behavior changes every day. My son will come with one mood and say that, Appa, you are a very good person. I am very happy to have you as my father. The very next hour, if I scold him, he will change the behavior and he will come with another behavior. You are a bad father. I don't want you to I'll go out, something like that. Right? Changing. Human behavior is changing. I am going to study that. How I am going to study? So, human behavior cannot always be predicted like physical laws. If I throw something on top, it will come down automatically, because it's based on the weight of that particular object, right? The flow may be fast or slow or something like that, but human behavior we cannot predict. It cannot be predicted as always. Even psychologists can predict, but not to the larger extent, right? For example, I used to say, there was a counselor who counsels a lot of students. Okay. His position is a counselor. One fine day, he committed suicide. And a lot of people said, being a counselor, he committed suicide. Being a counselor, he committed suicide. Right? We couldn't predict that he is under depression, heavy depression. Because of that, he committed suicide. We never imagined. He comes and laughs at me. We were working together for 5 years. It is very disappointing for me. He couldn't predict it. Right? It is not the outer way someone behaves well. We cannot say that he is not having any drama in his life or depression. As a society, as a man, as because we are linked with many things, right? So it is not all the behaviors can be predicted, and we cannot generalize the behavior to the whole public, right? So very important that uh, we need to understand uh, everything in a better way, to a proper systematic research, right? So when you say, and when you talk about the research, we speak about qualitative and quantitative research, right? So these are the major uh, uh, the methods in research. One is quantitative, use numbers, statistics and surveys, and qualitative uses interviews, observation, case studies, studying how people experience poverty. Okay. For example, if you want to study poverty, you can do it in a quantitative manner and qualitative manner. When you say quantitative manner, you say that census data on income levels. So what is their income? What is their expenditure? Because they are living in poverty. I want to study in a qualitative way. I can use interviews, observations, studying how people experience poverty. So out of poverty, how they are experiencing. Understood? Do you understand the difference between quantitative and qualitative? Very important. The basic knowledge we should have on the approaches to research. I can approach my study on qualitative manner and quantitative manner. How? It is not I am well versed in qualitative, so I will take qualitative. I am well versed in quantitative. No. How, for the benefit of the research, for putting the scientific temper on the research, I should adopt what method is related to my research problem. Okay, what I want to study need to be the prime area, what approach I should take for my research. It is not how I am well versed in it. Okay. So next is the empirical investigation is very important. What do you mean by the term empirical? What is empirical?
Sir, is it total in totality?
Can you brief on it, sir? What is
Mm,
empirical?
Complete investigation.
Okay, very good. Very good. How we assume, how you arrive the know that you have done a complete investigation?
Mm,
Empirical means evidence. Okay. Evidence
Right.
means you have a data. With data, you arrive at a fact. With fact, you arrive at a theory. Okay. So empirical means based on direct observation or experience. That as a researcher, you should do an empirical study. It is empirical study means you collect data. We collect data as a researcher. Not we have taken a data from some secondary sources. If I take a data from secondary sources, that is not an empirical research. That is a discussion point I am taking from particular research, and I am discussing in my own way, whether it's correct or not. But empirical means a researcher takes the primary data, collects data, do observation, do participate in the research, do experience, and brings the theory or fact into it. That's called an empirical research. Sociologists collect real life data to understand social facts and behaviors. When you say facts, is general and all those things we have discussed. So we bring fact into it and helps avoid assumption and guesses. So it avoids assumptions and guesses. After I end of your research, some scholars or some students speak. I think women are more empowered in that particular community. In the end of the research, you cannot say I think, I feel. No. Out of my study, 40% of my respondents, those are women, are empowered in financial decision. That's the way you should represent. That's the way we should say. We cannot say at the end of the research, I think, I assume, I something which is not a fact, right? So qualitative and quantitative research we do study elaboratively, but here this is very very important that empirical means based on direct observation, sociological collect real life data to understand social facts and behavior. When you say challenges in applying scientific methods and social reality, we say that human behavior is emotional, as we have discussed, unpredictable and influenced by culture, right? So we cannot say that, as I have said, a person will behave in the same way, and people. It is hard to fully be objective in social research. It is very hard, but it's ethical that we must be objective. But it's sometimes very hard. People may not always respond honestly in studies, and social situations are constantly changing. So these are the things which is challenging in social science research, right? And it is can be avoidable. It's not 100%, but it can be avoidable if the researcher is very very strong on the research methodology, right? And scientific methods and scientific methods and study of social uh, social phenomena. What is a scientific method? Is structure and study of social issues, objectivity, and social research follows clear stages like observation, data collection, analysis, theory formation. There is a difference between natural and science phenomena, both quantitative. This is just I'm briefing on what we have studied. In the unit 2, we are moving. And studying human behavior scientifically is challenging, and despite changes as something which we have studied so far, right? It's the learnings in the unit 2. And we move to the unit 3, that is the theoretical approaches. We just go through it a bit of time and we will end up our session. Theoretical approaches in our research study. What is a functionalism theory speaks about? View society as a system made up of interconnected parts like organs in a body. That's what Emil Durkheim's theory. View society as a system made up of interconnected parts like organs in the body, your hand, your eyes, your nose, and ears, right? How it is interconnected. So each part has function to maintain balance, right? Example, family, education, religion. Okay, right. So in religion, especially, you need to that that extremism should not be there. It should go as a system. They should have some values, ethics, and all those things. So anything the institution has, any institution or any society, it is a system made up of interconnected parts. So social institutions work together to maintain stability and order. There must be a stability and order. If there is no stability and order, the society will die. That society will not exist after some time, right? They will go us like that. Okay, it will take some time and it will get vanished. And Emil Durkheim emphasized the role of social facts in maintaining cohesion. Talcott Pearson, who works with Emil Durkheim, viewed society as a stable, self-regulating system, right? So we have also discussed about conflict theory, focuses on inequality, power struggles, believes that conflict is a natural and necessary for social change. And Karl Marx highlighted our class conflict between the bourgeoisie and the poor proletariat. And social change happens between the oppressed and challenges and ruling class, right? So we have discussed about it. Inequality is natural but created by system of power and exploitation. And he believes that one day or the other, bourgeoisie, proletariat will win over the bourgeoisie. Because if the protest or if the bourgeoisie is not able to, the rich is not able to take necessary steps uh, to meet over the demand of the poor, who is major, who is in majority. Working class is majority than the rich or bourgeoisie. So automatically, Karl Marx believes that the proletariat will win over the bourgeoisie. So social change happens when the oppressed challenge the ruling class. Inequality is a natural but created by the system of power and exploitation. Inequalities is natural. Okay, no society is equal. Even if you go to US, there is inequality. There is a class system. Okay, there is inequality. Any countries, there is inequality. But how the government merge it, how government uh, is not making through the policies and laws should not that the difference should not be very large. Okay, if there is very large, then it is it's a problem. Then there is no discrimination based on any kind of class or caste. The government should take care of that. So if it goes fine, then it's fine. Okay. So symbolic interactionism, as we have discussed, focuses on everyday social interaction and how people create meanings, symbols like language, gestures, and objects. So George Herbert has come with a theory, and he said that society is constantly shaped by how people interpret and respond to each other. Okay, how they interpret and respond to each other is that's very important. How the society is constantly shaped. It's a simple how I treat you and you treat me. It makes a relationship better. If either side, if it's not treated properly, then we break the relationship. The society is the same. If it is not in a larger way, it is not functioning properly. If it is not treated well, then they will not go to the next level of development. So looks at a micro level. So society, we should look at the micro level, not macro level. Okay. So Hinduism is the biggest culture. Okay. But the village takes it's a Hindu society there or religious society there, how they take that particular uh, function or rituals in the particular society. They will look into only that. They won't look into across India how this culture is going on. The same way, you take any kind of religious practice of Christianity, they will more focus on the particular parish or particular church they belong to. They will bring all kind of cohesion, all kind of relationship, building the relationship, everything in that particular religious community on the particular parish. They know each other well, right? So that is we should go to the micro level of understanding the society. So challenges of idea of fixed structures and meanings, post structuralism, and Michael Foucault explored new knowledge and power are linked. Okay, so the society focuses on power, language, and discourse. How they discourse the everyday to day activity, right? So, so when the learnings of the particular third unit is how we understood the theoretical background of the society, right? Like functionalism, conflict, post-structuralism, and so on, right? So we will. Any questions so far? Any questions?
Sir?
Any questions? Any questions you have? We'll discuss it.
Questions, sir. Slide number 20. Can we have a relook on it?
Slide number
20, I think. So.
20.
The problems with
This one?
yeah, challenges in applying scientific methods to social reality.
Okay.
People, sir, as you have rightly said that people may not always respond honestly in studies. So this is absolutely correct. Even I too faced when I did a small research with regard to the studies now. So under such circumstances, the outcome will be different.
Yeah.
Isn't it, sir?
No.
Hello?
No, people are sometimes won't be honest in responding it. So what is the next question of yours?
Under such circumstances, our research outcome will be a little bit different to what we have perceived or what we have thought to undertake that research actually. So under such circumstances, what will happen to our research? We will not be finding what we have to do. The outcome will be different.
Exactly. This will have it brings some errors into our research.
Yes.
But how we can minimize that error? That is very, very important.
Okay.
So this will not happen in qualitative approach. It will happen in quantitative approach.
Yes, sir.
For example, you want to study the students' kind of student stress during exams. Okay, you ask 10 questions or 100 questions to them.
Sir.
Okay, 10 questions to 100 people. So in that, 30 people might have done? They just ticked something and gave to you. Okay, they least bother about what is the question and what is the answer, and they just ticked and gave you. Right? This is what you are asking. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
How you have to rectify it is to this kind of error can be minimized by increasing the number of samples. Instead of 100, you should go for 150. Here,
sir,
30.
Sir, if I can interfere here.
Okay.
Sir, as a student, I'm second year student. I'm just now. I mean, a couple of months back, I got permission to undertake one research. That is field research.
Okay.
So my subject is like that. That I cannot contact n number of people. I can get data from one or two people. That was that type of research I did, and in that I experienced the second point what you have mentioned. People may not always respond honestly in studies. So again I'm coming to my point. So what I wanted to prove out of my study may not be correct in the final note, conclusion part. So under such circumstances, will my research be accepted?
Exactly, your output will be wrong if your respondents is not giving proper answers.
Yes.
Right. For
Yes.
simple question, you are asking my name. My
Sir.
name is Rex Sahayaraj. Okay.
Yes.
If I am giving my name as Kumar, what will you do?
It will be a wrong research.
Wrong research, right? Instead of Rex, you put Kumar took the class for us. It's a wrong. Right?
Yes, sir.
So one sample, you are getting a wrong answer. I am not genuine to give you my name genuinely to you.
Yes.
For example, instead of 1, you are going for 10%.
Sir.
Out of wait. Out of 8, out of 10, you may have 8% to be right and 2% to be wrong.
Sir.
Right?
Yes,
if you are going for 20%.
Sir.
So your error will be minimized.
Yes, sir.
That is called a sampling error. It will be minimized. This will
Sir.
be helpful for your quantitative study. Where you give a set of questions, you ask that person and give you answer, or give to the questions to them and they will fill the answers and give. This will be minimized in the quantitative research. Quantitative research, you cannot do it with 1 or 2%. You have to do it large number of samples. Okay.
And it is a time consuming, sir. For students like us, the time is very limited, sir.
Yours is a qualitative study or quantitative study?
Qualitative.
Qualitative study. Qualitative study, what method you used?
Interview time. Question and answers.
Questions and answers. In-depth interview you should use.
Pardon, sir? In-depth.
In-depth interview. Okay.
Sir,
It's
again,
not just question and answer.
Okay. In-depth, in background, we will do some research and we will ask.
In-depth interview you should ask.
Yes, sir.
Question in-depth interview.
Sir.
You may do it with 10 or 20% for your qualitative study.
Sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I got.
Okay, in that, yes, if you have to select a proper respondent for your study, you cannot just go on for qualitative research. You cannot just go and take someone and do a study. You should have a criteria why you are selecting a particular person. Okay, why you are selecting a particular person for your study. For example, you want to study the mental health of the academic counselors of IGNO.
Sir.
Okay, you cannot, you want to observe, or you want to do an in-depth study on academic counselors. You cannot take a person who newly joined as an academic counselor in IGNO, or newly joined learner in IGNO. You should take at least third year student or second year student or academic counselor who has worked for more than 3 years.
Yes.
You should have a criteria to do a, then the error will be minimized.
Sir.
So these are the criteria you should bring, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, in order to minimize the error.
Sir.
Clear? Right. I hope I have answered, but it is better to reach out to your project guide to have more clarity on how to minimize the error. Because I don't know your topic, what you have done. It's not a correct platform to discuss on this.
Yes, sir.
But also I suggest you go to your project guide and get the more clarity on how you have to minimize the error. Then what you have said is, if it is done, then your output will be error.
Sir.
There we cannot bring reliability and everything.
Sir.
Yes. Thank you, Sanjeev Kumar, to have that good discussion on research. Very good. Any other questions?
Sir, on behalf of the class, we are very much thankful to you, sir.
Is it? I am also very thankful to you for joining. I think 5 are here, right? Very good. Very much interactive. I think almost everyone talked. It's the first time that all the participants are talking. Not talking, interacting. I'm extremely happy that interacting. I think all my classes will be more interactive. I thank
Have a nice day, sir.
Yeah, sure, nice day. Actually, it's my birthday today, so I have
Oh,
started.
sir. Okay.
Happy
Thank you
birthday,
Happy
very
sir.
birthday,
much.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, very, very happy birthday.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you. Yes, we'll wind up here. Any questions? Thank you, Shilpa. All right. The sir is there here? No. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much being with the class. We'll meet next Saturday with the same zeal of learning research. Very interesting. Sometimes it's boring, but if you are all student of IGNOU, you want to study because you are joined in IGNOU. It's not something you are forced to study. I hope so. But it's you want to study, you want to experience and explore yourself and learn new things. So that you have joined this course. So please make use of it. Ask more questions. I definitely, if I don't know, I'll say I don't know. Okay. I feel sometimes to say I don't know, then better talking something which is not relevant. Okay. So do a lot of
Sir, one
learning,
final question.
do lot of reading so that it will be helpful for you to
Sir,
understand. Yeah, Sanjeev.
sir, one final question, please.
Yeah.
Will there be any class on how to prepare a research report?
Yeah, this 10 hours of class, 10 classes I'm going to take. I
Okay,
think we will cover all those things. Don't worry.
sir.
Okay, that will not be an issue.
Sir.
Okay, all right. Anything? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll stop it here. Yeah.